How do you explain temporary happiness pertaining to everlasting bliss?
Okay, it's very good question, and this is where people don't understand it, and this is why they run after happiness. Okay, as I explained earlier, this is like sun. Okay, so bliss is total happiness is there. When it reflects on the earth, it reflects that heat and light, but it's not as intense as sun itself, right? Same light reflects on the moon, which is less, and reflects in the water is still less. So take that metaphor. Bliss is constant happiness. What is the definition of bliss? Bliss is constant. There is no rising or no falling. It has no beginning or end. And that is our nature. First thing close to it is causal body. Causal body means consciousness. So when we are in touch with other human beings or living creatures like pets, what happens? It creates the bond and awakens consciousness. That consciousness takes us inward, so that with a relationship with human being which is closest, takes us closer to bliss experience for a short time. But all the human beings, they have their emotions, and children don't behave the way you want, husband and wife, they don't behave, then you get disturbed again. But for the moment, you go closer to it. So really feels like happiness came from a loved one, but only loved one became instrumental to take you to that experience. Okay. Now next level, what you are saying is happiness, pleasure. What kind of pleasure are you talking about? The pleasure of eating, touching, right? Right, something like that, right? So pleasure comes from the senses. So senses are in further down to astral and causal body. So I put simplest example people can relate. Eating. People say, I got pleasure from eating. What happens when you are eating? You are getting the pleasure in the mind, I'm eating, But really when you get involved in the eating, when you get real pleasure, that is the aha moment. At that moment, you forget who you are, what you are eating. Forget about all the mind. Your mind disappears when you are in the experience, and that is short time bliss experience, and we become introverted. That means we go inward and get introverted. But the illusion comes, it came from the food, it came from the sex, it came from the sound, it came from the smell. So this is illusion. Explain further. This is because of mind and senses. Other one is loved ones. But suppose somebody is, I'm a millionaire, I am a most famous person, I am most powerful person. Okay? So if you have pleasure from that, that is what people run after. To be powerful, just presidents. People want to be president for power. People want to be famous. After being president, they want their legacy. So that is pleasure, isn't it? It is actually reflection of pleasure. Because pleasure of eating, you are eating. You have contact with the food. But pleasure of owning the building could be in Florida, And also you are very powerful, you are alone. Nobody to recognize you are rich, you are in a foreign country, didn't know you are a very wealthy person, you are a very famous person. Would it give you happiness? So it is only a reflection of pleasure. So really all the happiness comes from inside. It means more and more you withdraw from the world, you have greater chance of happiness. More you withdraw from senses and mind, you have greater happiness. When you become very quiet, that means withdrawing. Just like electricity goes out, goes to the source, you withdraw and be established in yourself. That is deep meditation or samadhi. That is where one gets experience of bliss. to understand that people take LSD, they take drugs. Why do they feel blissful? They take any drugs, they feel blissful. What happens? Do they remember the external thing? No, they are in their consciousness, though it is elusive. So this explains. The real thing is bliss. Diluted form is happiness. Still diluted form is pleasure. And still diluted form is illusion of pleasure. So really everything comes from there. So if you want to get real peace, you are running in wrong direction. You can collect all the wealth and all this and you still feel emptiness. People who are more inward, more connected to themselves feel happiness. So happiness doesn't come from things or people. This is the philosophy. When you understand this philosophy, you let go of attachment to the things, attachment to people. Because the real thing is inside, and this is the essence of all the scriptures. They say, know thyself. What does it mean? Know thyself. What is thyself? Not this, not this. All are illusion. This is what is called Maya. Just, it's hard to even comprehend, but this is the first thought, and then you can ask further questions. So this at least explains for now.